Let's give him a Studio Ghibli budget.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to a freakalicious bonus episode of the Horror of Babylon, where we are watching Freaky, which Daniel had to convince Von me to watch. Not really. No. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
I was going to do a whole bit, and now you distracted me.
All right, well, do your bit.
No, it's over.
Okay, all right. But you know what's not over? Our love for our patrons. Thank you to Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben the Fourth, Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yeah.
Oh, she makes it rain. And Sierra the Sixth, the Keyblade Patron. There's lots of that in this movie, except it's a knife. And thank you to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at fourhorsemen.tcgplayerpro.com. And if you are waiting in the parking lot outside after Friday Night Magic and everybody else is left and you're waiting for a ride and the mist clears and there's a spooky guy standing across the road from you.
It's just me.
No, I can guarantee it's Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas. Do not get in his car. Trigger warning, teenagers. Like, that's... To me, that's the thing in this movie is
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Yeah, if you don't like Vince Vaughn, you probably should not watch a Vince Vaughn movie. Our history with Freaky. So explain why we decided to watch this movie.
We were reading the Wikipedia article for Cherry Falls, and it said that this movie was inspired by Cherry Falls. And we were like, well, like Cherry Falls had some ideas and sort of fell apart here and there. So what would a movie inspired by it be like? It never got its sequel that they talked about. And then we were like, oh, let's go watch it. And then we watched the trailer for it. The trailer looked nothing like Cherry Falls.
So I went as far as I Googled, I read the wiki and then I went off the wiki and I Googled where's the Cherry Falls influence in Freaky. I went as far as I found the director Chris Landon on Instagram, and I'm like, he will probably not reply to me, but what the fuck, I can say I did it. And I sent him a DM and I said, hey, hi Chris, we're a small podcast that is currently covering your film Freaky, which we love. Thank you for your hard work. Suck your dick. We read on the Cherry Falls wiki page that Cherry Falls inspired Freaky. Is there any truth to that? Thanks. And of course, he hasn't responded to me.
We'll add him when we release the episode.
Yeah, we'll at you. We're coming at you, Chris Landon. But yeah.
Chris Landon.
But despite that, I did not expect to like this movie at all. And then I watched the trailer.
Yeah, and the trailer sells you on the idea.
And then I watched and I was like, oh, this movie's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And I got Beck and Emma to sit down and watch it with me, and we all liked it.
That's amazing.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
Background, this movie released October 8th, 2020. It's directed by Chris Landon, who also directed Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2 You.
Which I can feel.
Yeah, I feel super hard. It was written by Chris Landon and Michael Kennedy. Michael Kennedy was inspired to write this movie after watching Happy Death Day. He wrote an early draft of the script and then showed it to Chris Landon, and then they collabed on the final version of the script. The original title of this movie was Killer Body.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't hate it. But then they changed it to Freaky Friday the 13th, which I see where they were going with that, but I just think it's too long.
That is too long.
Maybe also a little on the nose.
Yeah.
I do like Freaky.
I mean, that is what it is, though. So.
Yeah, it is. It's a Freaky Friday slasher.
Yeah.
It was nominated for the 2021 Best Horror Film in the Saturn Awards. It lost to The Invisible Man, which I have not seen.
The Invisible Man is pretty good, and it's a more serious horror movie. I far prefer this.
Yeah, this is a straight horror comedy.
Yeah.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
Structure and themes. So, first Chris Landon gave us Groundhog's Day the slasher. And then Chris Landon gave us a multiverse slasher. And now we get Freaky Friday the slasher. Thoughts?
I think it's a wonderful idea. It's like sometimes you see someone do something like this, and then you go, wonder why no one thought of this before now.
The Wikipedia calls it a high-concept comedy horror film. Big high concept meaning they're starting with an idea, and the idea is Freaky Friday slasher.
Yeah. And then you kind of work backwards from there.
Yeah, exactly. It's also described as postmodern slasher. I think modern slasher being like the Scream era of slashers, and that like the Scream, Cherry Falls, Urban Legends kind of era, and then this being slashers after that era. So Daniel, what is in this movie, what's typical of a slasher and what isn't?
Okay, so you got like the urban myths surrounding the killer. And usually that only comes in at like, part 2 or 3 of a slasher franchise. Like myths start to build and people are like, oh, well, no, that killer was killed so many years, and then the killer just is back. Yeah. And with this, this guy has existed, but he only shows up around Homecoming for some reason. I don't think we ever find out why.
No.
Okay. For Jason Voorhees, it's because he drowned in the lake because his camp counselors were too busy fucking to watch him.
Nice.
Yeah. So I imagine it's probably something like that. Like he was like a nerd who was bullied on prom night or homecoming or whatever, and he came back as the killer, or he became a killer. It's probably something like that. If they ever do a follow-up, I'm sure we'll find out. I'm expecting a zombie Vince Vaughn. Because if that's my idea for a sequel, is you just do the movie again, but now he's an undead one. And when they switch bodies, like you have parts falling off. And
oh, that would be
like
great.
Indestructible body.
Yeah. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Because then you could just, like, the head rolls off, and she has to pick the head back up and screw it back on the body. Contact me. What was the director's name? Chris Landon.
Chris Landon. Yeah.
I'll give you the idea for $2.
$2.
I just want my name on the credits.
Venmo me $2. Make sure my name is somewhere in the credits, and there we go.
There we go. They even bring up some of the tropes, like a lot of, especially in early slashers, minorities were killed off super quick. Which I kind of attribute to a coincidence, like the virgin girl is always last. Which I attribute more as to a coincidence, because virgin person is just written as a cautious character, and cautious characters don't go into the woods by themselves at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
But, you can deconstruct that if you want, but the movie plays with those ideas. And, of course, like, the nerdy virgin girl's the one who switches bodies with the killer. I think it's just a wonderful idea. And it's obviously a world where some sort of supernatural shit exists, because we have a body-switching dagger.
It just transports you on top of this, like, Aztec-looking pyramid that's probably actually from hell.
I do like that we get an explanation, because sometimes in these body-switching movies, you're just kind of supposed to roll with it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my mom and I don't agree, and we go to bed angry.
And that we made a wish.
Yeah.
But, like, it's an ancient Aztec evil... Like, I could buy that. Yeah. It's a slasher movie, whatever.
Yeah, we don't need a 20-minute explanation of how it works. It's just like, oh, okay, it's
just to get you on board with the
voodoo,
concept.
It's voodoo magic. Cool. Keep going. We already started on this. I don't really see where the Cherry Falls influence is.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being hard-pressed, like, other than, like, other generic slasher shit. Like, I was expecting maybe the movie... Because we watched the trailer, and so when I started to watch it, I was like, maybe there's, like, a bunch of, like, sexed up stuff in it.
Not really.
But not really. Like, they don't play with the concept of her being a virgin or something like they do in Cherry Falls.
The similarities it has with Cherry Falls are just, like, the slasher things that they all share.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't see it.
I guess you could say it kind of tries to deconstruct a single idea, which is, like, Final Girl's now the killer.
Yeah, but I mean, like...
But that's...
a lot of slasher things these days are deconstructing some aspect of it.
Yeah, that's the entire Scream franchise. So,
Yeah.
But I was looking for stuff and I couldn't find any. I would love to find out because maybe it's just something that I'm not thinking about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe Chris Landon will reply to me someday.
After he gives me my $2.
Yeah. You owe my friend $2.
Watch this actually happen, and then we can start, like, pimping the podcast using this line alone.
Sure.
Chris Landon stole Daniel's idea.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Characters, and we're going to start with Catherine Newton, who plays Millie Kessler. First, let's talk about Catherine Newton playing Millie Kessler. And then we'll talk about Catherine Newton playing the Blissfield Butcher.
Okay.
So let's start with her playing her actual character, the girl.
I think that I liked her way more as herself.
Yes.
Of course, like, how do you play, like, a quote-unquote mute serial killer as...
Yeah, in a teenage girl's body.
Because you either have to make her mute the whole time... Mm-hmm. And I was like, because we see it in the trailer, oh no, she pulls her hair back and now she's sexy and kind of vixen-y. And I'm like, well, that's not how the killer really acted.
No. So the only thing that I thought was weird, and this is just a Hollywood thing, is like they spend like the first 20 minutes of the movie kind of downplaying that they don't say that she's unattractive, but she's kind of treated like
it's alluded to.
Yeah, and I'm like, she is by far the most attractive person in this movie.
I know that people will get like up in arms about this stuff, but I think you need to get like because I think she did a great job in the role.
Yes.
But I feel like the role was written with at least a plain looking person in mind.
I think they could have done a little more to
play that up.
Dress her down.
Yeah.
Like frizzy her hair, put glasses on her, like something.
Because as it stands, like, the only thing we get is like when she's in the mascot uniform, and everyone looks goofy in a mascot uniform.
Yeah. And like when the killer takes over her body, he puts her hair back and he puts her in nice clothes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, does make a difference for sure, but but honestly, this is a small nitpick. Like this.
Yeah, it's she didn't do a bad job. I just think she did a better job as herself, or as the actual girl than as the killer. And we'll get it to when we get to Vince Vaughn. But, God, there was something I was going to bring up here. Oh, there were a couple lines I liked. But I just don't know if I can picture the way they... You know how, like, they portrayed the killer at the beginning of the movie up until the body switch?
Yeah.
So I couldn't picture this killer saying some of these lines, like... Every time you talk, my pussy gets so dry. I can't wait to kill... Like, I can't picture this killer saying these lines.
So... I kind of did, and so when they first switch bodies, the killer is in Millie's body. He doesn't talk. Like,
yeah.
He's like mute, and then I think something kind of clicks, and he's like, "I'm not myself. I can kind of start to act out and tease people in a way that I couldn't do in my previous body." Yeah. So that's kind of how I justified it in my own head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's something that just kind of comes naturally with these body switching movies.
Yeah. It's I guess I'm also comparing him to Jason Voorhees because you got the Friday the 13th motif. He's masked and silent for the first part of the movie. It's not like they portrayed him as the guy from Psycho, who Vince Vaughn also played.
Yeah.
In the remake.
In the remake.
Freddy Krueger or Ghostface, the killers that kind of have a little bit more personality and tease and shit.
Right.
They played him as, so I was picturing Jason Voorhees, and then I get talking teenage girl from Jennifer's Body is what I got.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen Jennifer's Body.
No.
It's Jennifer's Body is who the killer is.
Okay.
You know?
And again, for me, like, these are little nitpicks.
They're nitpicks.
Yeah.
That by far did not take me out of this movie.
Okay, so let's go to Vince Vaughn.
He did a great job playing a teenage girl.
He did. And, like, I was really hesitant. So I like Vince Vaughn a lot in particular movies.
Yeah.
But then there's also, like, movies that I've seen him in that I'm just like, ugh.
I don't think he does good jobs in serious roles.
And I was hesitant because I thought this was going to be a serious role, and it's not at all. Like, I was cackling. The scene when he's in the urinal, and he's like, standing up peeing is kind of rad. That was...
I liked the flirting with the mom.
That was great. Oh, that was so awkward. That was so cringy. I loved it.
Even when he was, like, barking at the bully.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're an awkward teenage girl and somebody's bothering you all the time. Like, what do you do when you're in a big body? Like, that kind of struck me as, like... to me, that was just good writing.
One of my favorite lines is again, in the bathroom stall, do I wipe?
Sometimes you can dab if you're a little extra drippy.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that before, but generally, no, you don't wipe.
Just 2 shakes, or you're playing with yourself.
Or you're playing with it, yeah. And I loved the chase scene with the 2 friends.
Yeah, that was really well done. Mm-hmm. It was well choreographed, too.
It was. It was actually kind of a cool fight scene. I love he's got the pot lid shield and they're both just like coming at him like from both sides. It reminded me of Cap and Bucky fighting Iron Man.
Yeah,
Bam.
Because Vince Vaughn's a big guy. Hold on, how tall is he?
He's got to be over 6 feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up real quick because that's why he worked not only as like the big silent Jason Voorhees killer, but also kind of the goofy teenage girl.
Yeah.
Sometimes I guess can come off as vaguely gay. He's 6'5".
Holy God. He's a big man.
So yeah, serial killer, 6'5", behemoth, but with teenage girl mindset.
No, I thought it was super funny like the whole way through.
Yeah. He's got good delivery. And part of that's directing, part of that's script, and part of that's Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. He's a good comedic actor. And then him as the killer, like the first scene where he kills like the kids is fine. Like, I think that scene was more to establish the killer than it was to be like straight up entertaining.
Based off of the trailer, I wasn't expecting it to be as gory as it was.
Yeah, that's true. Something I liked, this movie feels a lot like Happy Death Day, but Happy Death Day was PG-13 and this is R, and you feel that difference a lot.
A big thing for slashers, at least for me and for a lot of people, is like, you want a creative kill.
Yeah.
And like the first one we get is a wine bottle shoved down a throat and then crack.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting him to like break the bottle and cut the throat, and it would have been fine, but that was...
Of the like 4 characters here, the one you spend the least amount of time with is Vince Vaughn playing the killer.
Yeah.
In the killer's body. Which I think is good because like if you spent like a ton of time with that's what you'd probably like at holes would start to pop. Let's talk about the mom and the sister. Katie Finneran plays Coral Kessler, Millie's mom. I was screaming at the TV when she didn't pick her kid up.
She's a parent dealing with tragedy and making it her daughter's problem.
Yeah, which
I'm sure is hard.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you still have to be a parent.
You still have to pick up your kid from their social thing. Especially
after
when
3
there's
people just got out. It's not like they hadn't been killed yet.
Yeah, the killer targets teenagers. These were 3 kids in your daughter's class.
You can get drunk after you pick up your kid.
Yeah,
which would still probably not be great to be doing all the time. But
no, but at least then your kid would be home and safe.
In your sight, she's siphoning off her daughter's like social life because she's lonely, and I get that.
Yeah,
I've been there, but at the same time, I'm with you. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I was like, this is the worst thing you could do.
I was like, just make her have a flat tire or something, so I don't want her to die.
No, but then you get that scene with Vince Vaughn in the dressing room, and it doesn't walk it back, but it makes you feel for her.
Yeah.
Too, and it's like, wow, I did not expect this movie to have this like complicated mom character.
Because she's sad and lonely, and you know, and it's like a realistic thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And realistically, what happens is that you make it your kid's problem, and that sucks. And you know, people always talk about, you know, generational trauma. And
yep.
There you go.
Okay, and then Dana Drury plays Char Kessler, who's Millie's older sister and the cop. Less to say on her, but I did like appreciate the role that she played in the movie.
Yeah, she was fine.
Yeah.
It didn't really wow me, didn't bother me. I like that she showed up to save her sister because her mom was irresponsible.
Yeah. That's actually what the first thing I yelled when the mom didn't come pick up the daughter. I was like, her sister's gonna be so pissed.
Like, if you don't think you can pick her up, why don't you just call your cop daughter ahead of time?
Because she would have had to tell her that she was drinking. And I mean, there's that in that first scene in the kitchen, the older daughter sees the empty vodka bottle in the garbage can and goes like, ugh. And it's a very good show don't tell. It's like, oh, okay, these two have gotten into it about the drinking before. So it does a good job.
It does a lot of that.
Establishing like the three of them in their home life without
being over expositional.
Yeah. And then it gives the three of them the win together at the end. Okay.
Which also plays into slasher tropes because the killer's never dead the first time.
Yeah, never. So we'll talk about these next two together. So the two friends, Celeste O'Connor and Misha Oshavirich, I'm sorry, I'm sure I screwed that up, play Nyla Chones and Josh Detmer. Oh my god. These two kids.
We're role-playing. Isn't that a sex thing? I'm straight. I don't know how to tell you this.
You are a lot of things, but straight is not one of them.
No, I like pussy. I wanted them to... I know I go on about, like, beating jokes to death, but I kind of wanted that one to go on just a little bit longer.
It was super funny.
Yeah.
The two of them... Well, really, the three of them just really had good chemistry, and it's funny because the two of them had good chemistry with Catherine Newton, and they had good chemistry with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Which, whoever was the casting director there did a really good job of picking these kids.
I have zero complaints.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint so far has been super nitpicky shit.
Yeah.
And it's like a how do you solve this to make it an actual movie sort of problem.
Yeah, and the movie is so much fun that it's hard to focus on those stuff. And we already mentioned, like, the chase scene. And I just love the where they get in the car and they're just driving off.
Balls suck.
Balls do suck.
Yeah.
They're not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably should have said that.
We'll clip it and send it to Hev.
Yeah. And then the last character I have is the love interest, the crush. Uriah Shelton plays Booker Strode.
Hiya! Happy Easter!
I really want to kiss you right now. How did they sell that? Vince Vaughn found a way.
It's my favorite. When that happened, I yelled, "This is my favorite day." We were okay. So we're sitting there. We're sitting watching the scene, and he says, "Is it cool if I come sit in the back?" And I look at Emma and I'm like, they're gonna kiss. And she said, no, they're not. I was like, they're gonna kiss.
Is it wrong I preferred you with the man body?
He says, is it bad that I feel like kissing you right now? And I just howled.
It was perfect.
And Emma screams, no! It was the best.
Her first kiss wasn't even in her body.
Yeah. Let's pick this up later when my hands aren't bigger than your face. I was hoping this would never happen. But I was hoping at the end of the movie that he was going to dump her because, like, I'm sorry, I preferred you in the dude's body.
No, he's just pansexual. He doesn't see gender. He sees her soul.
Yeah.
He's such a good dude.
I mean, yeah, he is. And I always love that, like, that nice jock character, like Tommy from Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get into that. Probably because that was never my experience in high school. I hate to be, like, stereotypical, but...
We live in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And we liked Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
I also liked Naruto running, so I didn't stand a chance.
I wore my my Naruto Hidden Leaf headband to school sophomore year of high school a lot, so
yeah,
I kind of had it coming.
I hate to say it, but
yeah, no.
Sometimes you look back.
You make your own bed most of the time.
Yeah. These days, people bully me for doing kung fu.
Well, all right. I mean, if I'm going to bully anybody for doing anything, it's not going to be something where they learn to beat me up.
Yeah, we bully people for doing Aikido.
Ha ha ha.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all on every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Scary shit. Is this movie scary?
No. I think it has some good kills that can make you, like, if good, like, well-made kills can make you cringe, you might cringe at some of them.
And I did at a couple, but it's not trying to scare you.
Yeah,
it is a horror comedy.
And even outside of a comedy, it just wants you to have a good time all the way through.
Yeah.
It either wants you laughing or cheering at the kills, or just kind of enjoying the small bits of drama it sprinkles in there.
Yeah, inner relationships in the family and between the friends and...
Like, I'm not going to pretend like this movie is perfect, but it has damn near everything I want from a movie like this.
I think comparing it to the whole of the movies that we've watched for this podcast, it's on the higher end.
Yeah, you're going to have to scroll pretty high up.
Yeah, it's going pretty high on mine. What about effects? What did you think of the effects?
I thought they did pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, again, I keep talking about the first 3 kills, but it did a good job of doing very gory, but also creative kills. You had wine smash, you had toilet stomping, and you had just like pick you up and
yeah.
And it was, and that one was just kind of sudden. Was like,
and then to just make it all the worse, the parents just walk right in and just lose their minds right then and there.
I'm not gonna say stolen, but I believe it's 100% a shout out to another slasher movie I'm gonna make you watch someday.
Okay, what is it?
I can't say it because it happens in the opening.
Okay, all right, that's fine. We found a couple slashers that I've enjoyed a lot more, so I'm definitely cool with exploring more of this subgenre, but the podcast cannot become
the slasher podcast.
Yeah, that.
I think if you enjoyed this, you will enjoy some of the Scream movies. They take themselves about 20% more seriously.
20% is probably okay.
So, like, there's parts where...
Thank you, Rainbow Dash.
Thank you for getting that. Yeah. You know, because there's parts where they're trying to be, like, a little scary, but at the same time they were having fun, and they were considered, like, postmodern deconstruction of slasher films. That they were like, we're making fun of the genre that I helped popularize because of Wes Craven, but then it brought the genre back from the dead because it just sold so much.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Kiss me, fat boy. Teenagers are kind of rapey.
Teenagers are kind of rapey. I think that there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah.
Just like small children, teenagers are very egocentric. They don't think about things like consequences, and everything is a joke to them.
And they don't think about the feelings of the other person involved.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's okay, and you teach your sons to not talk like that.
No.
Or do shit like that.
I think this movie did a good job of displaying that without, like, harping on it too much.
Yeah, and it also punished people that were like that.
Mostly.
Mostly.
It's funny because it's Josh, one of the main, like, 3 kids.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to go to that party and I'm going to prey on drunk jocks who don't know any better. And the other girl's like, that's kind of rapey. And he's like, yeah, it is. Like, yeah, that's he basically just said fuck consent.
But I 100% believe that was more of him being like tongue-in-cheek. Teenager not taking it the topic seriously.
And if not, he's also a stupid kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So doesn't mean
it doesn't make it okay.
Doesn't make it okay, but
doesn't mean you shouldn't teach them better.
It doesn't mean that he also can't grow up and realize that's a dumb thing.
Yeah.
Like there was things that I believed or said or did when I was in high school that I look back on and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that was wrong.
There are jokes I made a year ago. I go, maybe not anymore.
Oh my God, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Kings and Koontz, after I watched this, I messaged Daniel and I said, I will be shocked if we do not have the same king for this movie. Daniel, what is your king?
I thought it was really hard because I liked so much of this movie.
Okay. I have a definitive king.
Mine is the Mom, I'm Straight. That like entire sequence I really liked.
That was great. For me, it absolutely has to be the kiss.
Yeah, okay. The kiss is pretty good.
I'm sure it was a bigger deal for me because I had Emma there and she was freaking out about it. And actually, I have Emma's king in her Koontz. Her Koontz is the kiss. And she described it as the pedo kiss. And
okay, because he isn't supposed to be a teenager.
But
she has the brain of a 16-year-old.
Beck also said, I'm sure the actor is over 18.
Yeah.
She's like, we explained, like, most of the time high school movies,
they're played by people, these days probably by people in their 20s, but back like when Scream was made, it was people in their 30s.
Yeah, which was, ugh.
Like the further back you go, the older actors were portraying teenagers.
Her king was the line, which we haven't mentioned yet. Well, we, not directly, you kind of alluded to it. I'm gay, you're black, there's no way we survive this.
Yeah.
Bex Koontz was also the quote-unquote pedo kiss, and she declined to give me a king.
And then Mike, what's your Koontz? It's hard.
I guess I'm just going to go with the nitpicky that at times it didn't feel like the same killer that I got at the beginning of the movie. But like at the same time, I'm like, well, what do you even do?
I feel like I came up with a funny Koontz while I was watching the movie and I didn't write it down. And now I don't remember what it was.
We didn't get 2 kisses.
Something like that.
Oh, even the gay kid got a kiss.
Yeah, that's true. That's my.
He was preying on drunk. The drunk jock preyed on him. Tell anyone and I'll kill you, F slur.
Okay, so let's rank. So here's your top 25. If I need to go down, let me know. Or it's your top 30, actually.
It's in the top 10.
All right.
I'm gonna put it right below Pet Sematary.
Wow. Okay, so that's your number 8.
It's pushing The Mist out of the top 10.
Below Pet Sematary and above Blade, pushing The Mist out of the top 10. I love it.
And part of the reason is I love The Mist. I could go back and watch The Mist again. I could go back and watch this 2 times over The Mist.
Yeah, this is so much easier to watch over The Mist. That's for sure.
I was honestly not expecting to crack the top 10 this week.
No, it was really good.
Yeah, it's getting kind of hard, ain't it?
Yeah. I think it's my number 7, below The Exorcist and above Cocaine Bear. And for me, it pushes Call Girl of Cthulhu out of the top 10.
Which is sad, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. I think I love that movie and it's super entertaining. I think a lot of the entertainment in Call Girl of Cthulhu is shock value. Yeah. And I think Freaky might stand up to rewatches a little harder than Call Girl of Cthulhu.
I think it has like better, like not just gags, but just visual humor, actual jokes, lines, pacing,
better performances,
and this isn't always fair, but the budget does kind of help it a little bit.
That's true. That's how, like we said, the effects were good, and that helps.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So it's great. Watch it.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Homework. We had the Groundhog's Day slasher. We had Freaky Friday slasher, multiverse slasher. What other plot cliche will Chris Landon turn into a slasher movie? I'll go ahead and go first.
Okay, do you got one?
Yes. So he is going to go to the world of anime, and he is going to turn a harem rom-com into a slasher.
That sounds amazing.
Yes.
Let's give him a Studio Ghibli budget. I mean, Studio Ghibli doesn't have to do it, but they need to have that
much money. Okay, and I want... It's going to be a series, but a short one, like a 12-episode series.
Oh, so he's going to make Higurashi.
No, because that's like 26 episodes.
Yeah, but he'll make
multiple
good.
series. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, if you cut out like a lot of the slow stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, now that's what I want. That's what he's going to do.
We're going to do a virtual reality slasher. We're going to do Matrix slasher. And it's not going to be if you die in the video game, you die in real life. It'll be 100% like... You know what it'll be? It'll be like... You know those movies where they make a video game character self-aware?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a character becomes self-aware, but they're in a survival horror game.
That's cool.
Like, I gotta find it. Why are you making me waste all this ammo on like this like little bug thing when I can just run right over there? Something like that.
The girl from The Matrix is playing a Jedi in the new Star Wars series, The Acolyte.
Oh, that's cool.
And they gave her a Matrix green lightsaber.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so for further reading, obviously Happy Death Day. Same director, writer, like they're super similar, but the rating is like the big difference between the two.
And you can really feel it. I believe I even talked about like the kills in that movie being held back by PG. This is what I mean when I was saying that.
Yeah.
I think if you like this, you'll probably jive with Scream.
I think with Cherry Falls, even though I don't see like the specific influence, and this is a lot better than Cherry Falls, there's still like a lot of like general like teenage slasher similarities that you might also enjoy.
Call Girl of Cthulhu.
Yeah, Call Girl of Cthulhu.
I'm just gonna keep pimping that movie.
Upcoming on the Horror of Babylon this Sunday, June 2nd, we are back on the Dark Tower. First Sunday in June, so we're reading The Wind Through the Keyhole by Stephen King. And then the next Sunday, on June 9th, we are reading Rattlesnakes by Stephen King, which is...
Is that book even out yet?
It comes out Tuesday.
Okay, so I have credits. I've been saving them.
Which, look at this cover. This cover is...
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I might buy a physical copy of this too, just for the cover.
The description is, in Rattlesnakes, a sequel to Cujo, a grieving widower travels to Florida for respite and instead receives an unexpected inheritance with major strings attached. So I'm guessing it's about Vic, and Donna has died. I guess it's an older Vic, and Donna has died, and he goes to Florida. That's what we know.
It's either that or what was his friend's name? His
Roger.
Partner? Or it's Roger.
It could be
because Roger was older.
I wouldn't call, if it's about Roger, I don't like it being called a sequel.
Yeah.
That'd be more of a spin-off.
Yeah.
I hope it's not, but we'll see. I mean, he could even if it could still be a good story if not. But we'll find out.
I was wondering if it was going to be about dog zombies, but then it was named Rattlesnakes. This probably doesn't even have rattlesnakes in it.
Yeah. It might. I don't know. It might have a giant ass crocodile.
I want a giant ass crocodile story by Stephen King. I want the Lake Placid of Stephen King.
Yeah. Like, what's a big famous lake in Maine? Like, somebody has a pet alligator, and they let it loose in a lake in Maine. It would die in the winter. So they let it loose in the spring.
No, they hibernate in the winter.
Mm.
There are some alligators that live in cold climates, and they'll just put their noses above the water, and when it freezes over, they just breathe through the winter.
Yeah, but they're warm-blooded, so they need an external heat source. That's why.
Maybe I'm thinking of crocodiles then, because one of them does that.
Okay. All right, and then our next two Thursday bonus episodes on June 6th and June 13th, we're watching An American Werewolf in London and An American Werewolf in Paris, and those are both sponsored by Four Horsemen Comics because they're subscribed to our Losers Club tier, so they get to choose 2 movies or other short things for us to review each month. And speaking of our patrons, thank you
Yeah.
to Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben the Fourth, Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yeah.
Oh, she makes it rain. And Sierra the Sixth, the Keyblade Patron. And thank you to Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at Lake Placid, wherever Lake Placid is, and in the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at poorhorseman.tcgplayerpro.com. And if you make it into the store, say hello to Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas. All right, thank you for watching Freaky.
I had a
and
fantastic
recording
time.
with it. Yeah, no, I did not expect to like this movie as much as I did.
You're welcome for that. Ryan just came right up to my my Instagram with my amazing memes.
Thank you to our patrons. Stay tuned for our socials and stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/thehorrorofbabylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.